Quiet confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room or having all the answers. It's about knowing yourself deeply, trusting your decisions, and showing up with clarity and self-assurance. The people who exude quiet confidence aren't necessarily the ones who dominate conversations, but they move through life with a strong sense of self. They don't need external validation because they have internal certainty. Confidence wasn't something I always had. When I was younger, I was the quietest girl in class, too shy to speak up, too afraid to put myself out there. I had no confidence, no friends, and no idea how to change that. Fast forward to today, I feel comfortable speaking on stage, recording YouTube videos, and honestly having conversations with anyone. What changed? It wasn't overnight luck. And it wasn't about pretending to be somebody I wasn't. It was a process, a lot of inner work, mindset shifts, and practice. I want to share what helped me transform in case it helps you too. You've probably heard the phrase, fake it till you make it. Personally, I don't believe in that. For me, faking confidence created something I call internal inconsistency. When I was faking it, there was a gap between how I presented myself and how I actually felt inside. I was putting on a show, but deep down, I still felt like a fraud. And that disconnect only made my imposter syndrome worse. I was constantly afraid that somebody would find out that I wasn't as good as I seemed. Real lasting confidence doesn't come from pretending, it comes from building evidence. Evidence that you're capable both internally and externally. So my first tip, build evidence. Confidence isn't a magical quality you're born with. It's something you earn by showing yourself over and over again that you're capable. And here's what helped. First thing is keeping my word or keeping my promises. This was huge for me. Every time I followed through on a commitment, whether to myself or to others, I built evidence that I was reliable and true to myself. I started small. If I said I would go to the gym, I went. If I said I'd send an email, I sent it. Each promise kept was like adding another brick to the foundation of my confidence. The second thing, celebrating my wins, both big and small. For the longest time, I did not do this. When I reached 10,000 subscribers, I barely acknowledged it. Things just felt bleh. I realized later that not celebrating my progress made it easy to feel like I was not doing enough. So when it hit 11,000 subscribers recently, and thank you to all of you for supporting me, I went out to celebrate. Now, I'm trying to make it a point to pause and recognize the moments that matter. It's almost like talking to my past self, the one who doubted if she could do it. And celebrating also helps me close the loop. The next thing I did was pushing myself into discomfort, or pushing beyond my boundaries. Confidence did not grow when I stayed where I was safe. I had to put myself into situations that scared me, like public speaking or even starting jiu-jitsu. Each time when I was uncomfortable, I showed up anyway. And with each experience, I built more proof and evidence that I could handle challenges. Now, the second really important principle is to know yourself. Confidence comes from clarity. If you don't know what you want, it's easy to be swayed by external pressure. But when you know your values, your limits, and what makes you feel fulfilled, decision-making becomes effortless. And for me, confidence started with self-awareness. In my inner work journey, I recognized that I've been spending years prioritizing other people's needs over my own. I was great at reading the room. I knew how to anticipate what everybody wanted, their moods, their emotion, and I knew how to adjust to accommodate them. But gradually, this left me feeling invisible and somewhat resentful because I rarely voiced what I wanted. And so the first shift I did was I started to voice my desires. And instead of expecting people to read my mind, I made my desires clear. So for example, I made it very clearly to say, I love my alone time and quiet time. I love my deep work time, and I do not want to be interrupted by phone calls. I love a clean, tidy home. And you know what? People started to respect that. My family started honoring my quiet time. My work environment became more structured when I set clear expectations for when I was available. Confidence grew when I stopped assuming and started advocating for myself. The second shift, I let go of the fear of changing my mind. For a long time, I felt pressured to stick with decisions, even when they no longer served me. So I would hesitate to make decisions because I was worried that I would make a wrong decision. And that hesitation made me doubt my ability to make the right choices. Then one day, a coach told me something really freeing. You're allowed to change your mind. And then it actually hit me. That's true. Why do I have to stick with it? We can only make decisions based on the information we have and our current level of awareness. If a future, wiser version of me realizes a decision is no longer the best fit, I can always pivot. And so I stopped worrying about whether a decision was permanent. And that realization made me more decisive and confident and trusting that I can always adapt if needed. The third tip, set boundaries that protect your confidence. Many people think that setting boundaries just means saying no. For me, it's a lot more than that. Boundaries are about defining what I accept and what I do not accept in every part of my life. I picture it almost like a protective bubble. I decide what gets in and what gets repelled. And when thinking through boundaries, these are the categories I think about. Boundaries with time. I make sure meetings, coaching calls, and commitments are on time. I also set limits on where I provide coaching. No coaching to email or direct messages. Boundaries with activities. I started filtering my decisions through one simple question. Does this align with what I want and who I am? I used to have criteria on when I would take on new opportunities, but now I started to listen to my intuition and energy a lot more. I will take on something only if it's a sure yes. And if a decision feels heavy, and if I have to write down the pros and cons, or if I have to make a spreadsheet to think through the answer is no. We are always worried about losing out opportunities, but in truth, there are infinite opportunities out there. So if that's the case, I only want things that fully light me up. The next boundary, boundaries with energy and vibe. I avoid negative energy, gossip, and anything that drains my mental well-being. The next boundary, boundaries in my space. My room and my workspace are my sanctuary. My kids can turn their rooms into creative disaster zone if they want, but I have one rule. My personal space stays organized and respected. Even it means that a daily reminder of, oh, hands off mommy's desk. The next boundary, boundaries with people and media. I'm selective about who I allow into my life and what influences me. And this includes being mindful of TV shows, music, and other media that can shape my mindset. Number 4, how you carry yourself and what you wear sends a message. Your presence shapes how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself. Whether you're speaking to a group or engaging in a one-on-one conversation, how you show up matters. And to elevate my presence, I focus on 3 key aspects: how I look, how I sound, and how I feel. And when these elements align, they create a strong, lasting impression that resonates across different settings. And so let's talk about look. Dress to the level you want to be, not where you are at now. Whether it's dressing for a promotion or a meeting, or simply aiming for a polished vibe, dressing intentionally sets the tone for how you feel and how others perceive you. Next, prioritize personal hygiene and grooming. It does not have to be complicated. Clean and intentional grooming makes a lasting impression. And here's my simple rule. If you're unsure whether your shirt smells, it probably does. If you think nobody notices that tiny hole in your outfit, somebody has. Take care of the tiny details, they matter. Next, posture. One habit I use is the doorway method. Every time I walk through a door, I stand tall, open up my shoulders, and take up space. And this small adjustment makes a big difference in projecting confidence. Next tip, avoid rushing. When you rush, you look flustered. So slow down and move with intention. It signals control and composure. Another thing about look, turn on your camera in virtual meetings. It's a small thing, but showing your face helps build stronger connections and also ensures that you're remembered far better than being a name in a black box. Now, second tip is about how you sound. How you speak is just as important as how you look. People often ask me, how do you answer in an articulate manner? I have this one very simple tip. Answer in bullet points or frameworks. So when somebody asks for a question, pause for a moment and organize your thoughts. And then you respond with this structure. There are 3 key points. First, this, second, this, and third, this. Once you've given your bullet points, now you can go into details. Another thing to sound confident, slow down and pause. Just like an open posture taking up physical space, slowing up speech takes up time space. Pausing allows your words to land and shows that you're in control of the conversation. Number 3, feel. Presence isn't just about how you look or sound, it's about how you make others feel. So a few simple tips. Number 1, put your phone away during conversations, even during meeting. Giving someone your full attention shows respect and makes them feel valued. It also strengthens relationships and builds trust. Listen to understand, not just trying to respond. And shift your focus from trying to prove your knowledge or worth to genuinely empathizing with others. This makes the conversation more authentic and meaningful. Another tip, say thank you and then stop. When somebody compliments you, don't brush it off. Don't say, oh, I was lucky. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, I'm blushing. Instead, just acknowledge the praise and say a simple thank you with a smile. Number 5, invest in yourself. Quiet confidence starts with how much we value ourselves. I used to pour all of my energy into work, but neglected my own growth. I told myself I don't have time for personal development, for health, or anything. But everything changed when I started treating myself like the most important project. Investing in myself wasn't just about career advancement. is about investing in my whole life. And investment isn't just about money, it's also about time and energy. I remember hesitating before signing up for my first course. And then I took the leap and invested in a $3,000 coaching program for 3 months. And later I joined $20,000 per year program. Each time I felt nervous because I was worried that it would not be worth it. But you know what? Every time I invested in myself, the higher the amount, the more activation it created in me. Every time I invested in myself, I quantum leaped. That includes getting grants, promotions, salary increase, inner peace. I had so many limiting beliefs about money. And I used to think that I had to save every penny and always choosing the cheapest option. But then shifting to an abundance mindset changed something within me. When I started investing in myself, I saw my own worth in a new way. I trusted myself to make sound decisions. And here's the thing, when you truly value yourself, others do sense it. And because if I don't value myself, why would anyone else? And if I don't invest in myself, why would my institution invest in me? But investing in myself wasn't just about career growth. It also meant choosing where I spent my time and energy. So I invested my time in my health, prioritizing exercise, sleep, and movement, and not just when I had time, but as a non-negotiable. I invested my energy in inner work, coaching, journaling, and taking the time to reflect on my beliefs and patterns. I invested in my presence in relationships, choosing to be intentional with people who matter the most to me, and really setting aside time for real connection. Because confidence isn't just about what you do, it's about how you live. And when I started investing in myself fully, my money, time, and energy, I did not just become successful, I became happier, stronger, and more at peace with myself. So, quiet confidence isn't just about being the loudest in a room or pretending to be somebody you're not. It's about building real evidence for yourself, understanding your needs and boundaries, and showing up authentically every day. Becoming truly confident does not happen overnight, but with these strategies, you start to feel a shift. You'll stand taller, you speak with more clarity, and most importantly, you'll trust yourself more. And now I would love to hear from you. What's one way you're building confidence in your own life? And so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.